Hey everybody, it's time for fun and games with rock and roll.
Wakey, wakey.
It is time for the weekend edition, Sports Frenzy 2.0, your hangover cure. Whatever you did Friday night, we don't judge. We probably did the same thing, probably a lot worse.
Potentially.
And we've lived to tell about it.
Yeah, what, full weekends on 5 hours of sleep?
Combined, total.
Combined.
Yes. With working. School. We are warriors of the weekend. We know how to get through. We know how to get you through.
It's all about the rock.
It's with a healthy dose of music, TV and streaming,
and
movies,
coffee.
And some greasy, good sausage, eggs, chorizo, whatever.
Whatever you can stomach.
Yes. If you say avocado toast, I will reach to this microphone and kick your ass! Only wussies eat avocado toast. You will take some Johnsonville brats, some Jimmy Dean sausage, and shove it down your gullet and get through this weekend with us.
Along with a shot of what you had the night before.
Hair of the dog. And that brings us full circle back to rock and roll, as the great Nazareth once sang.
Exactly.
Now you're messing with a couple sons of bitches.
All right.
I wish I had better news to report in the world of rock and roll, though. We've got an album, partial album review, 4 rock songs. And I have got to tell you, this could be the worst, most depressing week of reviews we have ever had on the weekend edition.
This is the most underwhelming lineup we have ever had that we've subjected ourselves to.
There's hope for next week, though. We've discussed
There is hope for
next week. We will get to that. We have made a decision. All right. We decided we were going to be adventurous.
We thought we would give the Smashing Pumpkins Autumn Rock Opera
3
CDs,
discs,
33 songs. We were going on an adventure.
And even if it took us a while, if we listened to Act 1, took a couple weeks off, listened to Act 2, took a couple weeks off, listened to Act 3, that's fine. That's understandable.
Yeah.
Even if it was good.
If it was good.
This was not good!
It's not good.
Jesus, God. God help me.
Sweet mother of mercy. I will say one thing. Musically, it was cohesive in a roundabout kind of way. Very
cohesively bad.
Roundabout. It was just
cohesively
awful.
Bad.
It was not
oh
good.
My God, Billy Corgan, what are you doing? After I heard Beguiled months ago, which is not, by the way, in Act 1.
No, it's not.
I was like, this sounds good.
I liked Beguiled.
Like classic Smashing Pumpkins. What the hell was this? 11 songs on disc 1. The keyboard, it's overwhelming with keyboards.
Synthesizer.
Right.
And
drum machines almost.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Embracer was classic Styx synth. And not in a good way. It was the Dennis DeYoung
crap. The hell? My question is, what the hell is James Iha doing? They're a guitarist. They're very competent, very good guitar player.
That's noticeably absent.
Outside of track 7, Steps in Time, and track 9, Beyond the Veil, he is just gone.
Yeah. Beyond the Veil, probably my favorite of this whole thing.
I agree. Best song on the album, on Act 1.
Act 1.
Right. Yeah, I agree completely. What the hell was track 10? Hooray. What the hell was that?
All right. To me,
carnival music?
Yes, it ends with the carnival music. It starts out with freaking disco and then morphs to carnival calliope. What the hell is this crap?
Then the closing track, the Gold Mask, starts off like it's going to be a Flock of Seagulls song, and I'm like, what are we doing here? I'm sorry, kids.
I'm sorry. The Good and Goodbye, is it a truck backing up or a heartbeat monitor that starts out with the beep, 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 beep for almost a minute?
So you can tell we're not very enthused about the rest of autumn.
No, there's no high hopes.
So Dave and I are making an executive sports frenzy decision.
We're pulling the plug.
We are not going to subject ourselves to any more of this.
No.
We're too long in the tooth. Too many years in the rear view, too few ahead. We don't have time for this. We don't have time for this.
No. It's a hard pass on autumn.
I mean, if I had to rank Act 1, I could week 1, a week 1 frenzy.
Yeah, because of one song.
Well, like I said too, I kind of like Steps in Time. Because again, it's guitar. It's like torture. It's like torture. You listen to the keyboards and the synthesizers.
Steps in Time and then had finally, that 80s beat.
You finally got some guitar, and you're like, "Oh my God, thank you." It's like being starved in a cell for 5 days, and then you finally get some rancid bread and some
maybe
tepid water,
saltine.
Yeah, and you go, "Oh my God, this is the best saltine I've ever had in my life." So Dave and I are taking the rest of autumn off.
Exactly. This is just
we have got plans. We'll tell you about later for what we're gonna do instead. Much better plans.
Much better plans.
But kids, if Act 1, Disc 1
is supposed to be entice you into it, it fails miserably.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I figured this would actually be tolerable.
It's not Aldo Nova from last year with his rock opera.
Oh my God, The Life and Times of Eddie Gage was awesome.
It was brilliant.
Yes.
This is crap.
But again, that was 1 disc versus this 3.
Oh my God.
Who knows what the other 2 discs hold? Eventually I'll listen to them.
I'm going to. Out of curiosity,
like it should have been,
and a sense of self-flagellation.
Dave, you have done nothing that bad where you should subject yourself to this. Don't do it.
Call it morbid curiosity. We are going to see them later this summer.
Just for the fact we will hear Bullet with Butterfly Wings and a couple other songs we like. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. And the way things are going, Dave and I have been going back and forth, and I've given Dave a hard time because the next night is Pearl Jam, and he doesn't want to go. He hates Pearl Jam. But I'm telling you, if they play a lot of Autumn Saturday night,
we're bailing early.
I will be like, get me as far away from Noblesville as possible. I'm not coming back. Well, kids, Lord. I wish I had better things to give you for our 4 singles this week, but I don't know. Maybe Dave and I'll have different opinions. It'll be fun to see at least.
Wait and see where we're at with these.
Yes, we'll see.
Should we go with the probably?
You go with the one you want.
Arguably the worst.
You go with what you want. I will let you run the show here.
Dolly Parton's "World on Fire." Part of her attempted rock CD since getting into the Rock Hall of Fame. And this is an original. This is an original. It's still country. It's not a rock song. It fails in her attempt.
I'll disagree to a point. I
think the
lines are blurred between rock and country anymore. So this is a borderline. It is a borderline rock song to me. Now I'm not saying it's a good.
I can't put it in the rock realm.
Okay.
I can't.
Okay.
I didn't hate it.
Right, exactly. I begrudgingly tolerated it, was what I was going to say.
It's kind of catchy.
Yes, and I do admire the fact that she's trying to be controversial to a point, trying to bring up some things.
Yeah.
Religion, saying, where is God?
Yeah.
When did we lose in God we trust? Which is a little bit of a ballsy move in this day and age.
It's kind of on point because everything's going to shit.
Right. Again, I'm with you. I tolerated it. I didn't hate it. I will give it a very weak 2 frenzies.
That's right where I'm at on that one.
Okay.
All right. Duff McKagan. This is the song.
See, kids, anytime you hear that from Dave, that is his go-to. This is not going to be good.
It's not going to be good. This is more folk. More of a folk song.
I'm going to tell you what I didn't like about this. And you might disagree with me. I know Duff McKagan is in Guns N' Roses. And I know that makes him something of a rock and roll badass.
Ish.
But he also he's caused his own problems over the years.
He's self-destructed.
He has had
his
pancreas explode, I believe, because he drank too much.
Yeah.
He indulged. He went too far. This, to me, is such an offensive song. Not musically. I agree with everything you said about it musically. But lyrically, within the first 30 seconds, I hated it. Because I'm like, I'm not here to be your fucking therapist, Duff. And all he's making lyrically this song out to be is cathartic for him. It's all about him. It's all about Duff. This is the song that's going to save my life.
Yeah.
Because
I fucked up so badly.
Yeah. So we have to all suffer along with Duff. Because
of his bad decisions.
There have been stories coming out lately about how Slash has helped him through his anxiety. I'm so tired of people who have millions of dollars bitching about, we've got anxiety, we've got this problem, we've got the health problems that they brought on themselves. Sorry, Duff. I'm not down with this. No. You need to go see your therapist. Go see your therapist. I'm not your goddamn therapist.
Don't put your shit on the rest of us.
Very weak 1.5 frenzies for this. I couldn't stand the fact that he acts like we need to listen to his.
For me.
We need to listen to his problems. Again, you've got the money. You go see a goddamn therapist.
You brought it upon yourself. This is one, if you had to write it for yourself, keep it in your own archives. You do not need to share this with everybody.
What do we got next?
Bush. All Things Must Change. This one I did not hate this one. This is one of those Bush songs that I really kind of liked.
Yeah, this is, again, I do not like the fact that they're releasing a deluxe edition already of their last album, The Art of Survival.
Right.
And this is one of the extra tracks. The same thing Wolfgang Van Halen did. We'll get to him in a second.
Yeah. But no, I wanted to bring a bright spot to our reviews because I really enjoyed this one.
I didn't mind it. Let's put it this way. We haven't got through the final song yet. I will say that this was my favorite of the 4 songs.
I am in complete agreement. I gave this one a week 3.
I gave it 2.5. 2.5. It's just at that cut line for me.
You go.
It's good enough. Yeah. Especially this week. It's good enough. It's good enough.
And maybe that's why I gave it a week 3, because it stands out above the rest so much.
Yeah.
And because it's Bush, and there's not much of theirs that I like.
And see,
But I enjoyed this one.
Right. And I like them. So the fact that you like this more tells you something right there.
There you go.
But yeah, it even as a throwaway track,
this is good stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Now, probably the most disappointing song of the week. Mammoth WVH, Like a Pastime. Wolfie, what the fuck are you doing with this song? This is emo pop crap.
I like the opening, the first 30 seconds.
Oh my God, I thought we're getting something Alice in Chains
like 80-ish. It sounded like almost an 80s new wave kind of opening.
Yeah, it kind of had, I could see it, Alice in Chains doing that guitar riff as an opening.
And then I thought, it just falls completely apart.
It was the biggest letdown.
This is by far the worst song we have heard from Mammoth WVH. And the thing is, when I listen to it on Spotify, they always pair it with Another Celebration at the End of the World. And just, I'm like, oh my God. How do you put together...
What?
Another Celebration, phenomenal song.
Brilliant.
Lead off single, and then this is the second single?
Really?
This
does not bode well for the album.
Boy, I hope this is just a mistake in terms of marketing and a choice for the second single. I really do.
Oh God.
But this, I don't know where to go with this review. Outside, again, I was intrigued with the musical beginning, the drums, the guitar.
You had it, and then it just went off the cliff.
I don't know where he's going lyrically.
Of madness.
I don't know where he's going lyrically with this.
No, it makes absolutely zero sense.
I hate to say this because everybody knows how big of a fan I am of Mammoth.
We've seen him 3 times.
It's a week 2.
I was going 1.5.
It's a week 2 frenzies for me.
I'm going 1.5.
It's again, just, Bush is the best we've got this week.
Bush is the best that we have.
Yeah, so Dave and I are actually in agreement on most of this. Yeah. I think I like Dolly a little bit more. You liked Bush a little bit more.
If Dolly, what I didn't like was trying to proclaim it as her initial rock song.
Right.
I expected more. As a country song, it's fantastic. Duff.
Yeah. I'm sorry, kids. I feel like we owe you an apology, even though we're trying to do you a public service by telling you to stay away from most of this stuff.
Yeah, this was the worst week of listening to music that we've had.
But luckily, next week, we already know is going to be much better. Now, Dave and I are going to do something.
We're splitting album reviews for obvious reasons.
We've done it once in a while. And yeah, this week is very obvious because Dave is going to review the new Ghost album.
And Kevin is going to review the new Dave Matthews.
Now, in terms of songs, we've got 4 new songs again next week. And we already know we've got at least one in there that is awesome.
We have previewed one.
We've got the Foo Fighters' second release off their upcoming album.
Under You.
New John Mellencamp's second release off his new album, Orpheus Descending.
Yep, Eyes of Portland.
We've got brand new Queens of the Stone Age, and Dave and I really have never gotten to talk about Queens of the Stone Age together.
No, we haven't. And
it's been 7 years since our last album, and it's really one of those bands that we have never really talked about and discussed. No, they don't play them a lot on the radio. They really
don't hear a lot.
So finally,
what you do hear, I enjoy Queens of the Stone Age.
Right. So we've got a brand new album coming out, In Times New Roman.
Yep. Emotions Sickness.
Yep. They're big on puns.
Yes.
I think half the songs on the new album have a pun title like this.
That's going to be fun.
But the big one.
The big one.
It's been a decade since we have gotten a new album from The Hives.
First song, more puns, Bogus Operandi.
Yes, the album is the death of Randy Fitzsimmons, their fictional 6th member. This is typical Hives hijinks.
They're at their best. If you get to check out the video, it's phenomenal.
Yes, an homage to Evil Dead.
So
So we know at least next week we've got some good stuff.
we've got hope for a killer review of music next week.
I have listened to 3 of the 4. I have not listened to the new Foo Fighters yet. I was impressed with Queens of the Stone Age. You've listened to
The
Bogus
Hives,
Operandi, as I have.
so good.
I've listened to the Mellencamp song. You know,
So there we go.
Get ready to put on your patchouli stick and your hippie beads and your peace sign pendant.
Get ready to protest.
Oh Lord, this new album sounds
God
like
help
it's gonna
us.
be really
One
political,
pretentious political
really
piece of
political.
garbage.
And we get to see him next month.
Yeah, yay. That's all right. It's a bucket list show.
Yep. All right, kids, that'll do it for segment 1 here on the weekend edition. Music is over. We are, again, sorry we didn't have more positive reviews for you.
But at least you do not have to suffer as we did.
Right. Again,
That's what we're here for.
Next week, much better. And as I mentioned, we're about a month away from finally starting reviews of concerts with Mr. Mellencamp coming up in June.
Yep.
And then after that, we get to July, and it's going every week, every weekend.
Yeah, late July, August, September, boom, 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 boom.
Including some weekends with 2 shows.
So there you go. We're going to be busy kids.
That means we're going to be busy telling you how great the concerts were, or maybe, hopefully not.
There might be a clunker, you never know.
There's usually one a year. Usually one a year.
Bon Jovi.
Yeah. Yeah, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Bon Jovi. All right. Next up, kids, we're going to do some TV and streaming because we have to recap the final season of what I believe is one of the greatest shows of the last decade. Even though the last season maybe wasn't the best. Yes, I'm talking about Titans on HBO Max. I will also give you my review of the latest episode of Beavis and Butthead. We've got TV and streaming news, lots, especially stuff that I think Dave will be very happy with.
There's a lot coming down the line.
And then segment 3, we'll have our review in movies of A Man Called Otto. We've got a moment of silence or 2.
Yep,
and
I've got a book review.
And, of course, our requisite bunch of dumbasses. So, segment 1 is done. Quick promo break. Dave and I will be right back. Hi, I'm Harrison Ford. And when I'm not listening to Sports Frenzy on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, Stitcher, Amazon, and Audible, I'm out promoting my latest movie, even though I'm in my 80s. Right now, I'm working on my next Indiana Jones adventure. Indiana Jones and the Adult Diaper of Danger. So grab your Metamucil, your popcorn, and head out to the movies. Hey, did I hear Short Round won an Oscar? I don't have one of those. Son of a bitch. How did that happen? No time for love, Dr. Jones, my ass.
Now that you're awake with our horrible music reviews, it's time for segment 2 of the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
I'm the maestro, Kevin Crane.
Here we are recording May 17th, 2023. This will dropping Saturday morning, May 20th on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Amazon, Audible, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, and Stitcher! TV and streaming, as we promised. HBO Max's Titans
comes to an end.
Sadly.
Season 4, Part 2.
Part duh.
It's So 12 episodes overall for the entire season 4. The Brother Blood saga comes to an end.
A merciful end ish.
This was the weakest season of the 4.
It was. Brother Blood was kind of a letdown overall. Just a very milquetoast character starting out, and even when he was Brother Blood, he was still milquetoast as a villain.
And it seemed like it was almost the same thing over and over and over again. Every couple episodes, he'd get indignant and upset, and he'd doubt Mother Mayhem.
Yeah, he became a petulant little
And then
bitch.
he'd go back to Mother Mayhem, and then he'd doubt her and go to the Titans. I'm sorry, but
I got tired of the yo-yo storyline.
Well, and I could kind of tell. We've talked about the stories about the cost cutting with Warner Brothers. We talked about Batgirl and how they're willing to eat 70 plus million to keep that movie on the shelf. You could tell, I think, with Titans season 4,
they didn't put anything into it
because it seemed like every other episode they're running into a utility shed at a dam somewhere.
Yeah,
and that's where the big action sequence is taking place.
Yeah, they went low budget with this. It did
seem like a very low budget season. So
there were a couple of highlight episodes
and lowlights.
Because
I did not like the whole thing, the whole episode with Gar and the Red.
That was that got annoying.
Now the first half of that was awful. The second half, where they tried to bring in the multiverse and they mentioned Animal Man and they showed the TV Flash, and that was fun.
That was cool.
But
then the next episode where he drops in and you get a couple of the guys from Doom Patrol in there.
Right.
That was fun.
And they're stuck in the mansion.
Yeah. That was enjoyable.
Yep. So you got the little bit of crossover with Doom Patrol. And I did like how it ended. They did a nice job of wrapping it up.
Nick and I watched it. Connor fell behind and he's like, just go, I'll catch up eventually. Nick and I watched it, and after the last episode, we're like, yeah, they went the generic happy ending.
Yeah, it is. It's the generic happy ending.
So I expected a little bit more from them the way they went out. And they kind of, again, low budgeted it.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. Makes you wonder if the creators, the writers behind the scenes thought that what they were doing was good enough, where they were going to get a little bit of a reprieve from James Gunn and the new regime, where they didn't.
Yeah.
And they were told, nope, you end it. End it now.
Just end it. And all right, there we go.
Yep. But I thought it was sweet. The whole Coriander, Dick Grayson love story.
Everybody going off on their own.
Right.
What they wanted to do.
Yeah, and Superboy ends up kind of being a double agent.
Yep. Superboy was my favorite throughout this whole season.
Well, he was asked to do the most, acting-wise.
Yeah.
He's got to portray the conflict at the beginning of meeting one of his fathers.
Yep. Lex Luthor.
And watching him die right away, which was a shock.
Yeah. And then kind of...
the great Titus Welliver, by the way,
yes.
of Bosch.
Yeah. And then being given LexCorp, trying to run that, finding himself. Is he evil like Lex? Is he good like Superman? Or where is he in between? His whole conflict.
And the Titans didn't
persona.
know.
Yeah.
The Titans didn't know. That's what drove the best part of the narrative the whole season.
Yeah.
Is Connor actually going to help Brother Blood?
Or is he going to help the Titans?
Right.
Or is he just in it for himself?
Right.
And it's all about the team.
Yep. And his other father.
Yes.
At the end, we get little hints
that he gets to hang with Superman.
Yes. So I'll give season 4 a 3 frenzies.
Season 4 gets a 3 overall for the whole series, solid 3.5.
Agree completely. Yep, solid 3.5 for the whole series overall, all
Yep.
4 seasons.
Yeah.
And of course, we're disappointed because we thought, like every other season, it seems like
The week after Titans ends, we're supposed to have Doom Patrol.
but now all of a sudden it's on hold.
Frickin' HBO Max blows right now.
Soon to be Max.
Soon to be Max. Their whole cost-cutting crap is absolutely ridiculous.
So yeah, we don't know when Doom Patrol Part 2 of Season 4 and their wrap-up is supposed to commence.
Yeah. The final 6 episodes.
A lot of people, I'm telling you, a lot of people are complaining about the content. And
Or lack thereof.
Right. How this whole cost-cutting bullshit with HBO Max, with Warner Brothers, they are not pulling in the movies, the content, the exciting, dynamic shows that they're used to seeing.
God help me. After Doom Patrol, I might actually whack Max.
Yeah.
And give some money to the Rat to catch up on some of the stuff.
On Disney.
The boys are dying to see some of the Mandalorian and the Star Wars stuff. They want to see the Marvel shows, kind of, just to kind of catch up with some things.
No, I got you. And if it wasn't for I got a really good deal. I get Hulu and Disney for $5 total. If I could pass that on to you, I would, but I can't.
Yeah.
It was a one-time only deal for me. But
that's
what you got to do is you got to get one of those deals.
Yeah,
because I'm with you. Otherwise, I wouldn't bother. So, of course, that will lead into next week, where I will probably have my review of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
You've got access to Disney. I do not want to shell out the money at this point. So.
And you won't watch Air.
I don't care about the story of a shoe. I don't care if it's Damon and Affleck.
So those are my next
get excited.
2. I will have those 2 for you over the next 2 weeks, kids. I don't know what your Uncle Dave is going to review.
You might get a story time for all we know.
There you go. All right, I have my review of episode 5 of season 2 of Beavis and Butthead on Paramount Plus. Now, of course, last week I talked about how things got a little metaphysical, and we were talking about heaven and hell. Well, we're back to normal. Episode 5 was very good, especially the first of the 2 installments, Tobacco Farmers. Where the boys think that if they plant cigarette butts, they can grow tobacco plants. And they try to take over one of those local community farms as they wheel in a trash can full of cigarette butts. The second one, believe it or not, is a little bit more PC.
What?
Where they go with a big thing they've been doing here in their reboot is they've been doing a lot of the old Beavis and Butthead. So they do an old Beavis and Butthead where they mistakenly are trying to get one of the 2 has got to get his license renewed for his car. And they walk in, they don't like the line at the driver's license branch part of the courthouse. So they go to the marriage.
Oh, God.
And they end up getting married. Because they think the woman behind the counter wants to have a 3-way with them. But only if they're married.
Oh, God.
So this one was overall, this was a pretty funny episode.
That's awesome.
I know you got to catch up, but I love my Beavis and Butthead.
That's good stuff.
Every Thursday night on Paramount Plus, you get a new episode of Beavis and Butthead.
There you go. Oh, and those wacky adventurers up on Oak Island, the Laguna brothers and their cohorts. Once again, weather up on Oak Island and the stupid damn permits they have to get from the Canadian government hosed them on one of their big fines. So we got to wait till next year as they've gone down into the garden shaft, which is right above.
That's what she said.
Yeah, above a tunnel that they finally found. And in the wood that they've dug up and the water content, high traces of gold and silver. And because of permits that they need to have to go deeper and the impending weather that they ran into at the end of last year as winter hit, stop things cold, where they're very close to possibly finding what's going on up there. But this season, they've been to Europe again. A lot of stuff leads to, more than likely, it was the Knights Templar that were there. Things that were built, artifacts they've found from ancient Roman times, carbon dating back to the early 1400s pre-Columbus. So the Curse of Oak Island on the History Channel is very intriguing. It's not necessarily finding the treasure. It's just all this weird stuff that they found that is kind of contradictory to some of history. So it's about the adventure and the mystery and trying to figure out what's going on, as well as the treasure hunt.
Very nice. All right. We've got news. And some of this news, I think, will make your Uncle Dave very happy. But let's start off with news that makes me happy.
Let's. I have to ask, are we going to discuss the WWE bombshell at some point?
David, you have got me stumped. I was going to go AEW this week. I do not have any news on WWE. What news do you have that I do not have?
I have to get the name correct.
All right, well, let me give out my AEW news
You start
first.
going yours.
So AEW is now going to have 3 nights of wrestling every week. They, of course, have Dynamite on Wednesday nights. They have Rampage on Friday nights, and now AEW Collision. 2 hours will debut June the 17th on TNT. Saturday Night Wrestling, baby. So now we've got 5 nights of the week covered with wrestling. Gotta love it.
All right.
I want to know what this shocking WWE news is.
Hornswoggle, diminutive wrestler, was informed that he is Vince McMahon's illegitimate child as part of the storyline.
What? What? I have no idea what that is. I have no idea what you're talking about.
You will have to do some research on that.
So Vince McMahon has a midget as an illegitimate son. I don't care about, I'm not going to say little person.
Yep. So I expected that discussion tonight.
No, I did not hear about that. Did not hear about that. In other wrestling news, kind of not wrestling, but wrestling. I loved the first season of Heels on Stars. Awesome with Stephen Amell, of course, formerly of Arrow.
Right.
Finally, season 2 of Heels on Stars July the 28th. Now, I'm not going to get Stars just for that.
Of course
But
not.
eventually, like I did with season 1, they'll put it on sale. Could buy the whole thing on digital for $10, which is basically what you're going to pay for a couple months of Stars anyway.
So there you go.
We're still waiting on Extraction. It's coming soon.
2.
It's coming soon. Now the word is out. The Russos have disclosed that there is a 21-minute single-shot action scene in Extraction 2.
Holy crap.
Supposedly, a little hint of it they have leaked online. I've not seen it yet. But a 21-minute single shot. And I think watching the trailer that came out last month with the Shield as he gets bombarded with the Molotov cocktails,
Yeah.
fire bombs, whatever they are, I think that's part of it. I think that's part of the whole continuous shot. I'm telling you, I can't wait for this.
This
Extraction,
is going to be
the first one was unbelievable.
Brilliant. One of the best action movies we've seen.
Yes. Yes, and this could actually give me hope that Extraction 2 could be just as good, if not better.
We can only hope.
Hey, John Wick 4 might be the best of the bunch.
Yeah.
Die Hard 2 was probably better than Die Hard 1. Close. It could be done.
It can be done.
The sequel can be better than the original. Temple of Doom was better than the first.
Temple of Doom was better than Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Thank you. To no one's shock, the CW has pulled the plug on the Winchesters.
No.
They say they're going to shop it around.
Yeah, not in its current format.
What a terrible, terrible legacy to leave for Supernatural.
The Winchesters was so
15
bad.
fantastic seasons
Of a brilliantly written show, brilliantly acted.
And you and I, as fans, couldn't get through 2 episodes.
Yeah, I didn't even start the second episode.
I got halfway through the second. And I was like, this is just garbage.
Watch the first one, I'm like, yeah, this is trash.
Awful, 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 awful. Of course, the strike, the writer's strike, still rearing its ugly head. Latest shows to shut down. HBO Max's The Penguin. And it looks like season 4 of The Mandalorian will be delayed.
That's that much longer before the rat gets my money.
Finally, and then we will go on to our book review. These are the ones that I really wanted to tell Dave about. FX. Big news on the FX front. July is going to be a very good month for us.
Oh, please tell me the boys from Tacoma FD are coming back.
No, that's not FX.
Oh, no, wait. Sorry, that's True TV. Sorry.
But
the vampires.
The vampires are back!
The vampires are back in July, baby.
What We Do in the Shadows Season 5 debuts July the 13th.
Now, did they finally pull their heads out of their asses and give us season 2 of Terriers?
Yeah, you know that. You and I are the only 2 people out there that want that. I'm sure there might be a couple other stragglers, but we have a premiere date just a few days after The Vampires, July the 18th, and the trailer is out, which I think we should review next week. I like to review good trailers. This is a good trailer. July the 18th on FX. Justified City Primeval.
Yes! Yes,
And the
Raylan
trailer-
Givens is back,
And
baby.
the trailer is out. I thought you would like that. A little bit of positive FX news.
Yes, finally.
So July, a very good month on FX.
Yep.
So what book do you have for us this week?
This week I have Clive Cussler's Dark Vector, a novel from the Numa Files, Kurt Austin and Joe Zavala's latest adventure. They're pulled away from a search for a lost Chinese pirate ship and treasure, trying to salvage or destroy some top secret computer servers. High-end stuff that's supposed to run on the bottom of the ocean. The tides are supposed to power them, and the cold temperatures of the deep are supposed to keep them cool to run at a high speed. They want to keep them from falling into enemy hands. So while they're trying to salvage or destroy them, they find that, oh, the ship did not just sink. Two rival factions trying to steal them double-cross each other, and mass chaos ensues as the search goes on. Who will get them first? Will it be the evil British expat from Hong Kong? Or will Numa mount their usual charge at the end? You decide. It's classic Cussler stuff. This one is by Graham Brown, this series.
I was going to ask if you were going to actually give credit
Yes.
to the person who actually wrote the book.
Graham Brown
Clive Cussler is worm
dead.
food right now.
Yes. No, Graham Brown has been writing this series from the beginning.
He was he the first one? I thought it was Kempreko's.
He did another one, I thought.
Okay. Well, I defer to you.
Anyway, but whatever. Graham Brown has been writing the last few of these at least. It's what you expect. It's Cussler action adventure fodder. Unbelievable things happen. You get the history, you get the high-tech stuff. It's a 3. It doesn't disappoint.
Very nice. Very, very nice. I might have a book review within the next month.
Awesome. It might be 2 weeks before I have
Oh,
the next one.
shut up, Dave. 2 weeks. Whatever. You got to give your eyes a rest.
Maybe. I've got a lot of stuff coming up to work on around the house.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Yeah. Don't fool yourself, kids. He will have another book read by the time this show is over.
I don't even have a book with me.
All right. That's going to do it for segment 2. I will say this, a little off the beaten path, but we have been kind of following the whole life and times of Elon Musk. So I feel like we should mention that he is stepping down as Twitter CEO. He has announced that Linda Yaccarino is taking Twitter over.
Yep. Elon now has got to lead the charge to try and usurp the hippy-dippy government in San Francisco and try and correct the zombie apocalypse type of vibe that downtown San Fran has.
Well, and the thing is, the thing I like about Elon Musk is that he just came out the other day and said, I'm going to speak my mind. If it costs me money, I don't give a damn.
Exactly.
So that's what we need.
We need more of some of that stuff.
Yes. And I'm not trying to propose or be a proponent for Donald Trump to be president again.
Oh, hell no.
But
that ship has sailed. The guy is an idiot.
But we do need somebody, again, independent of the political machine, like an Elon Musk, somebody to step up who's not beholden to Republicans or Democrats.
Somebody who's not a psychotic egomaniac.
Because if Joe Biden wins again, we're screwed.
We have no solid candidate from either side right now.
But there's time. There's time.
Because let's face it, Rick DeSantis is kind of a douchebag too.
If I have to, I'll vote for him. If I have to.
I can't.
Ahead of Biden? You would take Biden over him?
Oh, hell no. But there's got to be somebody better than those two. You know my stance.
I'm with you on that. But there's no way in hell I am voting for anybody. I'm not voting for Biden. I'll vote for anybody over Biden. I'll vote for Pee Wee Herman over Biden.
This just goes to show neither side has a candidate worth shit right now.
Again, we got time.
Somebody with a brain and a solid plan has to come about.
And who can put together two coherent sentences
Yeah.
together, which our president right now can't do. All right, kids.
Hell, he's lucky if he knows what day it is.
We're not going to get into politics. We're not doing it.
Nope. Movie review time coming up in the next segment.
A Man Called Otto with Tom Hanks. Moment of silence or two, and some dumbasses for you, kids. Dave and I will be back to wrap things up in just a sec. Hey, kids, ready for a blast of dairy goodness? Pick up Sports Frenzy 2.0 milk at your local grocery store. Remember, when you drink Sports Frenzy 2.0 milk, you're not only enjoying a healthy treat, you're helping to locate missing sports heroes of the past and present. Our cartons and jugs feature pictures of Peng Shui, Ryan Leaf, and Sammy Sosa as we do our part to find the lost icons of the last 30 years. And don't forget our special weekend edition chocolate milk containers, available on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Casts, and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, because they feature celebrities like Lindsay Lohan, Helen Hunt, and Jean-Claude Van Damme. Pick up a gallon today. All right, kids, third and final segment here on the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. Taping here on May the 17th, 2023. This, of course, is your hangover cure. Saturday morning, May the 20th.
The caffeine is kicked in. The aspirin's got the headache down. You're good to go from here on out.
He's a conquistador, Dave Height.
He's the maestro, Kevin Crane.
It is time for movies. We have a mutual review this week.
Yes, we do.
I think Dave was a little reluctant.
I was a little hesitant, but damn glad we picked this one and watched it.
This is A Man Called Otto, starring the great Tom Hanks. I believe it is a remake of a Swedish movie, or
It's based on a Swedish book, A Man Called Otto.
Okay. I've got to tell you, I am all over the place on this review because I've got so much I want to talk about.
There's so much going on with this one.
It's darker initially than I expected.
Yeah, I was not fully expecting the depths of despair that Otto was going through.
Yes, Tom Hanks obviously plays Otto as they live in a small condo community.
Yeah.
In Pittsburgh.
Somewhere in that area.
Yeah, because at one point they go to Duquesne University Hospital.
Yeah.
So doing a little research in the Pittsburgh area.
Yep. Otto recently lost his wife. His whole reason for living, as we learn throughout the movie.
And Otto is a grumpy old man. Otto has his rules.
He is the get off of my lawn guy.
Yes, he is. He has rules. He patrols his small neighborhood every morning.
Yep, make sure people put the recycling in the right place. People who park have the proper parking pass.
And the gates are closed.
And the gates are closed.
But again, Otto had his one true love. And he lost his one true love, so he has basically lost his will to live. But he's still begrudgingly hanging on to his rules and his habits and his routines.
Yep, as he contemplates how the next phase of his attempt to join his beloved. But then enter the new family that moved in.
And his bitter hatred for the development company that is trying to take over.
Die in America.
His little condo community.
Yep. How they nefariously find out information about people. He finds his will to continue on. And his legacy, his impact on the people now living in that little community.
He makes amends for
past slights and issues.
The things that some of us have done in the past. Thankfully, not between you and me.
Right.
But, there are grudges that you hold against other people who you used to call friends, that you let go, and that you let that wedge go in deeper and deeper. And Otto finally realizes that he's got one of those situations that he needs to fix.
Yep.
And make good on.
Yeah, this was a quick movie. I mean, it was a long movie, but it moved the pacing was fantastic with it. And it hit you in all the feels.
Yep. Yeah, I have a hard time with this movie, for better and for worse, because there are some negatives, a lot of positives. Remember how we used to talk about with Clint Eastwood, and we talked about how we thought that Gran Torino was supposedly kind of, in a way, the end of the Dirty Harry character, and how Unforgiven was the end of the Man with No Name. This felt to me almost like Forrest Gump in a way. The end of Forrest Gump in a certain way.
In a certain way, because he had that quirky mentality.
Right. Right. And of course, Tom Hanks is just brilliant. I mean, he is one of the best actors out there.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can hate his politics and hate what he says when he's not in front of a camera, but Tom Hanks is one of the best of all time. I hated the soundtrack. Oh my God,
the music, soundtrack was brutal.
The music in this movie, I had to dock it at least half a frenzy just for how awful the music was. Because it was just so cloying and awful, and it was hippy-dippy
crap.
Feel-good crap. Literally could be the worst soundtrack I've ever heard in a movie in my life.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It was so bad, I tuned it out, and I couldn't even tell you what the songs were.
The other thing that bothered me about it is there are movies that manipulate you. And if they do it, fine. If it works, fine. If they push your buttons, fine. And that's what A Man Called Otto did, is it tries to push your buttons. It tries to make you sad and good, depending on the scene, depending on the part of the movie you're in. That's to me, it's a manipulative movie in that respect.
Well, yeah,
it's blatantly not like Forrest Gump, where Forrest Gump to me was a little more subtle in that you kind of just rode the story, and whether you felt good or bad about what happened with with Bubba or what happened with Ginny. This was like blatantly, you will feel sad here. You will feel good here. And,
The way the tone was set.
but all the negatives set aside, I did like this movie. I did. I can't say I loved it, but I really liked it.
It was enjoyable.
Yeah.
It was much better than I thought it was going to be.
Again, you catch me on the right day. If I were watching it again, I might give it 3.5 frenzies. You catch me on the wrong day, I might give it 2. As it is, I think I'm going to give it a very strong 2.5 frenzies. Because again, I just felt like I was being manipulated emotionally. And the music is just so bad. So bad. I mean, God help me. It's like Edie Brickell must have done the entire soundtrack. Just so awful. But again, Tom Hanks is great. And it did. Here's the other criticism. This is why I can't give it more than 2.5. It has its PC moments.
Well, yeah. You know that going in anymore that you're going to have.
I don't have to like it, though.
You don't have to like it. So.
And even if the PC moments are heartfelt and sweet, and they make you feel good,
they're still
there. Again, got to check this box. Check this
box.
And again, that's a downgrade for me. So basically, I'm downgrading it half a frenzy for the music, half a frenzy for being PC, and half a frenzy for being manipulative. That gets me 2.5.
I can see that.
So that's where I'm going.
What about you? It's a strong 2.5.
Okay. So you and I are sympathetic.
We're pretty much there. This
I
almost tried.
It.
Yeah, I would recommend watching it. It's a good movie to watch.
Right. In this day and age,
it's almost the adult secondhand Lions.
In this day and age, we need a movie like this. We need something to give us some kind of hope.
Yeah, no matter how
a positive vibe.
Yeah, no matter how bad you think your life is, there are still people who need you around. You matter.
Right.
You have a place in the world.
And that, I agree with you completely. That is the message you've got to take away from this movie. And that is the positive, the big positive of A Man Called Otto is that message.
Yeah, because you influence people for the better.
Right.
And none of these people would have succeeded in a positive way if he would have been successful in his early attempts at what he was trying to do.
And on the flip side, he wouldn't have been able to live the years that he did
without
with love and with people that cared about him and a community that ended up caring about him more than he realized.
Yeah.
If he hadn't opened up a little bit.
Yep.
From just being the grumpy old man.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I'll admit, Dave will testify to this. He's known me for 30 years. Over 30 years. I get a little weepy when it comes to movies. I have admitted that there are movies where I will tear up. And I was tearing up at this movie.
There were a couple of spots where I teared up.
Yep. This movie was, again,
it hit you in
can say
all
it's
the
manipulative,
feels.
But it worked in its manipulation.
Yeah, because it hit the core of what being a human being is all about.
Very well said. Yep. I don't want to spoil the moments.
No.
But maybe Dave and I will discuss it off mic. But there are definitely a couple moments where I was very, very emotional.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I appreciate Otto using one of my oft-uttered phrases, idiot.
I thought you'd get a kick out of the car fight.
That was fun. Which one?
Yeah. But yeah, again, and then I know I feel like I should give this a better review, but again, this is why it was so hard for me to review this movie.
It's a strong 2.5, borderline week 3. It's right in
right,
that.
right. But again,
It
there are
again, it's
negatives in there that I can't forgive.
right.
You know, so
As
I
a
can't
whole,
really give it higher than what I did.
there you go.
But yeah, definitely worth seeing. Definitely worth watching.
Absolutely.
All right, we got another trailer. Maybe Dave will review it with me next week. Maybe he won't. We're already going to review the trailer for Justified City Primeval.
Yep.
The full
Looking
trailer.
forward to that.
The full trailer is out now for Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. I am going to get you to watch these movies eventually. I know you hate him as Jack Reacher, and that's fine, but there's no reason for you not to watch the Mission Impossible movies.
I've seen a couple of them. I can appreciate it for what it is. I've seen the first 3.
3's the one you can't leave off on 3. 3's the worst. 3's the worst of the bunch. And I wasn't a big fan of 2, even though a lot of people were.
Yeah, so I've seen the first 3. I just
4, once you hit 4 takes off on a different level where now it's a cohesive storyline that goes on all the way through to where we are now with Dead Reckoning.
All right.
Oh, did I tell you I have more wrestling news?
Of course you do.
There are pictures, leaked pictures of the set of Captain America New World Order. Seth freaking Rollins from the WWE is in Captain America New World Order.
There we go.
Nobody knows what role he is going to play, but he is on set.
Nice.
And he is soon to be, by the way, at Night of Champions. This is something I wanted to bring up. We got time. A criticism of WWE. Now, not Seth Rollins. He's in line to become in my opinion, the new heavyweight champion. The new belt.
Not what Roman Reigns currently has.
Right. No, the new belt that they had to come up with. He is going to fight AJ Styles at Night of Champions coming up next weekend. This is in Saudi Arabia. The last pay-per-view was in Puerto Rico. Now, just like the NFL, WWE is starting to pander to these other countries. And I don't like it because
broaden their reach.
Right. Now, I'm not talking about actually fighting in Puerto Rico or having the wrestling events in these. But when you are putting obviously blatant people in these matches, like they had a big battle royal the other night on Raw to who would fight Gunther from Imperium for the Intercontinental title. And you had a lot of really good wrestlers in this 30-man battle royal. Guess who ends up winning for the fight that's going to happen in Saudi Arabia? Mustafa Ali.
Gee, there would be a shock if he didn't.
Probably one of the bottom 4 or 5 wrestlers in that match. But because he's Middle Eastern heritage.
And it's going to be over there. You gotta draw the crowd.
And this is what they did at the last one, Backlash in Puerto Rico, with the women's title. And of course, Bad Bunny had to be there too.
Blah.
But Rhea Ripley ends up having to fight Selena Vega, who is nowhere near close to being a top women's wrestler. But because she's Hispanic, they got to have her in Puerto Rico.
You got
to check that's the stuff boxes. I don't like. I don't like that.
Don't manipulate
There
for the
is no
sake
way.
of manipulating.
There is no holy way in hell Mustafa Ali is going to beat Gunter. No way. But they're only doing it because
of where they're going to
Right.
hold the event.
And of course, all the women are going to have to wear the full body suits and all that crap. Just, I'm pointing it out. Just don't like it. All right, moments of silence. I have one. I'm going to bounce this name off of you and see what you say. Now, maybe you looked ahead of time. Maybe you've done your research. Ralph Lee passed away this week. Do you know who Ralph Lee is, Conquistador? No, don't
cheating.
Don't cheat. He's going for the iPad. Don't you cheat, you bastard.
No, I do not know the name off the top of my head.
I wouldn't expect you to. I wouldn't. It's very hard. Very hard. That's what she said.
But
Ralph Lee is the man who came up with the idea on Saturday Night Live for the land shark.
oh my God. Wow. That's going back into the vaults.
I'm telling you, though, this is significant. I think this is worthy of a sports frenzy moment of silence.
It is. Just a dolphin, man.
Back when Saturday Night Live was funny.
Yep. Candygram.
Yeah. Candygram. That was the best, yes. All right. That's all I got for that.
All right.
So.
Time to pivot.
You want to play?
Let's play.
All right. I have four contestants this week for the Conquistador, Dave Height, to decide.
As we play Red Foreman's Dumbass or Not.
All right. Let's start off with Sports Illustrated.
Oh, God.
Not only.
I think I just threw up in my mouth a little bit knowing where this is going.
Yes, they have multiple swimsuit cover models for the current upcoming edition of their swimsuit issue. Not only do they have a trans pop star, but 81-year-old Martha Stewart. And I've seen the picture. And
it's airbrushed to hell and back.
They would have found a way. And again, I can't criticize, but I'm not going to be on the cover of the SI swimsuit edition. The belly is pooching out a little too much for me.
I think this year has signed the death knell of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue.
All these companies, though, this is all they're doing now. They don't care about actually, swimsuit edition, beautiful swimsuit models. No, we can't do that. We got to put a dude who's now a woman, and we've got to put a senior citizen on the cover.
Octogenarian.
We can't just put a hot 25-year-old on the cover. God, no. What would we be thinking doing that? I don't know. The entire purpose of the swimsuit edition? God forbid. God forbid. Because that would be sexist to actually put an appealing, good-looking woman on the cover.
Unlike some of what the individuals they've placed in there.
Yeah. Why don't they put Lizzo on the cover?
Yeah, give them that idea. Great. No, the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition is dead. The death knell is gonging.
This reminds me of now we're going back about 8, 9, 10 years ago when Playboy said that they weren't going to put any more naked women in their magazine. Yeah. And that lasted all of a year. Yeah. They turned into Maxim.
Yeah.
Stop it! Leave us alone. Let us have our pleasures. Jesus God.
You're taking away everything.
Let's go over the pond
Yes, let's.
Let's go to Britain. British councillor Dave Jones, not Davy Jones, of course, the late great monkey. Dave Jones, a few days after the coronation of the king, decided to post on Facebook a video of Rainbow's song "Kill the King."
I shouldn't laugh.
And of course, he said, "I didn't mean anything by it."
I like the song.
Yeah.
Do
we really buy into the fact that
is he somehow related to the late Princess Diana?
Do we really buy into the fact that this was just coincidence?
No, hell no.
So
he's got to be a dumbass for anybody to think anybody would buy that.
That's what I think too. Come on.
No.
Sorry. All right. We all talked about the controversy. We're still dealing with the fallout from Bud Light and the whole Dylan Mulvaney trans crap and the idiot running PR for Anheuser-Busch trying to explain it away and talking about how we're trying to make
failing miserably in the
trying to make the image a little less fratty. Well, guess what we dug up? It turns out that we missed the fact that Miller Lite, a month before the whole Dylan Mulvaney controversy, had a little ad campaign of their own slide under the radar that we all missed.
Yep, talking about how women can drink beer without being scantily clad.
And how they actually are responsible for making beer. You know, trying to give us a history lesson involving Mesopotamia and all this crap. And they decide every other word in the ad's got to be shit. So basically, half the ad is bleeped.
Yeah.
Give Miller Lite your shit, and we'll turn your shit into beer.
It was a dumbass ad.
But yeah, again, trying to apologize. The gist of it is trying to apologize.
Just let it go. The more you try to explain, the worse the situation becomes. Just let it go.
You know what I want to hear? I want to hear a beautiful woman come out and say something like this. Yeah, I hate myself because I'm beautiful and I never should have been in a bikini ad or never should have been in Sports Illustrated.
Not gonna happen.
No, it's always the dumpy ass women
who take offense.
Right. So 3 for 3?
Yep.
All right, I think I'm going to go 4 for 4. Finally, Archie comics.
Oh, God.
Are now becoming, quote,
woke. No,
quote. Hey, I got a quote from the writer who's doing this. Archie comics are now becoming, quote, a little bit more queer, unquote, as they take a classic character named Danny Malloy and turn Danny Malloy into a transgender woman.
Why in God's name do you have to take one of the classic characters? Why, again, this is the problem. Why can you not just create a new character? Why do you have to mess with original characters?
Well, when I first saw this, I was worried it was going to be like Jughead. Jughead's becoming transgender. I was like, oh Jesus.
God.
Well, we all kind of knew, but
just leave classic characters alone. Do not give them a different
race, creed, color,
religion,
sexual orientation.
Leave the characters as they are. If you want to add something, create a new damn character. That's all we ask.
Well, and that's the thing. You did your book review the last segment, and I was talking about how I would have one in the next month, and it's what I consider to be the last James Bond book. Because, of course, there is now a new 007 book out, which is absolute, in my opinion, heresy. where you've got gay, transgender, all that crap going on. I'm reading the last true James Bond book.
There you go. There's some things you just don't mess with. If you want to check boxes, create something new.
But we're dealing with what I'm sorry, they're terrorists. These are people who bully
and badger and manipulate.
They will threaten your livelihood. They will threaten your life if you don't go along with their agenda for what, 4%? I don't care. You 0.5%, 4%, 10%, still a vast minority of the population somehow gets to run everything. Somehow gets to bully everybody into having to use pronouns in your emails.
I still refuse
forcing
to
their
do that.
way into every single. We still got 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Can I point out? I missed him last week. I'm bringing him up this week. My Clint Eastwood badass of the week in the entertainment world. Richard Dreyfuss. Richard Dreyfuss, a couple weeks ago, came out and said the new diversity rules for the Oscars, quote, make me vomit.
Well said.
And this plays perfectly into what we're doing here, wrapping up the weekend edition, because he's right. He says what we've been saying. You cannot force writers. You cannot force directors, producers to have to fit into these little holes. Check the boxes.
We shouldn't have to check a box. If the story is there, it's there. If it's not, it doesn't belong.
The process of creativity doesn't go down a specific political road. It goes down where the writer wants to take it. If they want to go all queer, they go all queer. If they don't want to have a queer character in there,
they don't have to.
Sorry, but that's the way it is. And it's just ignorant and stupid to force people to fit their story into your little political agenda. So finally, sorry. Fuck you, Hollywood. Fuck you, all the little political factions who want to ruin all these stories and all these established characters. He's Dave.
He's Kev.
We will check you out next week, kids. Take care. Have a great weekend.